More than anything else in the world, John Sebastiani loves fine wines. That's why he created a fund incubator and called it Sonoma Brands, after the beautiful wine lands that he holds so dear. He's been managing partner of Wine.com, president of a premier California winery, and even grew up roaming his grandfather's personal vineyard. He is so ardent about bringing his passion to you that after forming Sonoma Brands, he immediately began working on a companion product, everyone's favorite wine accompaniment, the marshmallow. No, John does not care about the pile of money on which he sleeps, but only to identify the oaky flavors of his Chardonnay while devouring high-class marshmallows and asking, "You tried that?" Here we are, it's You Tried Dat. We're back to try some more snacks. I'm Nick Novak with my pals Chad Hancock.
What's up?
And Nick Geiger.
Hello there.
And guys, today we're going to reach out to our lovable fans and take a request a little later on, but we're going to start by talking a bit about cooking. How often do you guys cook for yourselves or wives/children?
I cook quite a bit, almost more than I want to. And I think if it was up to me, I would probably eat out 7 days a week. But obviously you can't really do that for a lot of reasons. I've been cooking like a lot more kinds of different foods, so I mean, Novak, you remember back in like high school and college and stuff, pretty much the only thing I would ever cook was just
Pasta.
a plate of plain pasta noodles with just butter and Parmesan cheese.
Do you still do that though?
I do still do that sometimes, yeah. Only if it's just me eating, and then I'll just be sitting there,
Right.
In my own shame eating that. My cooking has expanded quite a bit, where now I'm like regularly making, like we have all these cookbooks from like America's Test Kitchen and Cooks Illustrated and stuff. So I'll be making all these like mapo tofu, which is like a Chinese tofu and pork dish that I make pretty frequently actually. Just last night I made lasagna for like the first time.
The first thing couldn't have sounded more exotic. And you said, I made lasagna.
And so the only reason I made lasagna was because, so you guys know that app Nextdoor. For anybody that doesn't know, that's an app where you can basically learn to hate your neighbors.
I call it nosyneighbor.com.
Yeah, it's just a social network for just people that live by you. And especially in San Francisco, most of the stuff on Nextdoor is just people just being so like, oh, I can't believe that they're gonna take away this parking space to put in a bike rack, or like, just all the dumbest arguments about stuff. So we saw a post on Nextdoor where somebody was like, we're giving away all our groceries. Come and get them.
That are in their house? Like,
yeah.
Groceries, I think, implies that the food's not already inside your house and has been sitting in your cabinet.
So like a half-empty jar of mayonnaise or something?
Well, okay, so this is what we didn't know. All they said was like, we're giving away all our groceries. We have lots of stuff like free beer and an unopened box of Rice Krispies and a whole bunch of other stuff. They said it has to go by noon tomorrow.
They implied that the Krispies were unopened, which means that a bunch of the other stuff was opened, right?
Right, and so that's what attracted us to us, was because we had been thinking we wanted to make some Rice Krispie treats. So we're like, all right, well, let's go get this free box of Rice Krispies.
You've been waiting for someone to offer you a box.
Exactly.
It's a sign from God that it's time to make Rice Krispie treats.
So I head over to this guy's place. He lives not too far from where we live. I figure I'll just go and like kind of paw through his groceries and see which ones I actually want, But I ring the doorbell, and he answers the doorbell, and right there in front of the door is 4 bags full of groceries. And he's just like, here you go, let's load them in the car. Okay. So he explained that him and his wife were moving out of the country. So they just were like, oh, we just wanted somebody to get to use
And decided this right after they got back from Publix? Or like what?
I don't know. Well, so we get home, and I start taking inventory, and a lot of it is, there was like 2 half-full jars of ketchup, or like squeeze bottles of ketchup. One of them,
disgusting.
So disgusting. But one of them was organic. That's why they had 2, I guess. Whatever. There was like a huge jar of like just fiber. So, and then like some flax seeds and a bunch of other nasty stuff. And the first thing I said to my wife was like, so how do you feel about these like half-open condiments? And she's like, we're not keeping those.
How did you feel about them?
I don't want that shit.
I'm really glad they did this instead of, I don't know, donating it to like a food pantry. You fucking assholes.
Right. So then
Not you.
So then this thing happened where we divided all the food up, between stuff we were going to keep and stuff we weren't going to keep. And the stuff we didn't keep was all this collection of these half-open condiments and stuff. So then I'm sitting there like squeezing these condiments into our compost bin and just making this nasty concoction of just ketchup and hot sauce and Dijon mustard and flax seeds and all these other things. My first thought looking at that was like, oh, we should totally taste this concoction on the podcast. But
it probably would taste better than potted meat.
I'm not sure ketchup is the best compost thing to send this ketchup to the earth from whence it came.
Exactly.
Like when God made tomato in paste form.
Yeah, it's too bad they didn't have any cottage cheese I couldn't have mixed in there. The point of the story is that I got a bunch of lasagna noodles from this guy.
And that's how I cooked.
Yep.
So you just kind of scour next door waiting for people to offer up their groceries.
Right.
I've been cooking a lot more now that people are throwing things away.
Geiger, you're into cooking quite a bit, or
Yeah.
not quite a bit, but I feel like I've heard of you cooking some things.
I just want to make one more note on Chet's story. You guys have both repeatedly told me just throw away leftover pasta because it just costs $1 at the store.
Yep.
And yet you'll drive 4 miles to go get a box of lasagna noodles.
I just want to say this was not my idea.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Yes, I really love cooking. Primarily over the last 4 or 5 years, I started getting really into it. I guess it's a natural offshoot of loving to eat. I don't know what it is. I really enjoy it. So the routine we've kind of fallen into, I don't cook much during the week because by the time I get home from work on the train and stuff, my kids are too hungry for that. But I will kind of every weekend pick a larger, more elaborate meal to make. So ribs or chili or something really exotic like lasagna or I pick a new recipe. There's this smothered pork chops that I make that Betsy likes a lot. But all of these things, I'll pick out a different a fish dish or and I've gotten even to the point where I'm making some relatively fancy stuff. I had to light this sauce on fire one time and then put it out so it could deglaze properly or something. I'm using the wrong terminology, but so anyway, the bottom line is I really, really enjoy it. I wasn't always good at it though, so I'm still not. I use recipes. I'm still not the guy that just whips a bunch of stuff together unless it's just seasoning meat and grilling it. I can do that. And so I got crap from my sisters who listen to the podcast. Hi Becky and hi Jenny. When I was talking about ramen, they were mad I didn't bring up one of the things they make fun of me about. Was when in college I'm I'm gonna experiment with ramen because I was sick of eating ramen all the time. There's this peanut sauce that is prevalent in Asian cuisine. Chad, you can check me on that. But
yes,
all right,
checks out.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Is our Asian
a lot of Thai food has it.
Yeah. And so my version of that was I can do something like that. Just water down some peanut butter and put it on ramen noodles. That didn't work out.
You told us of a different ramen fuck up where you put the
I
powder on top at the end.
Right. When I told that story, they were like, "Oh, we thought you were going to tell that time when you put watery peanut butter on ramen noodles." And I'm
how many times did you fuck up ramen?
I fucked up both of them that time. The peanut butter didn't taste good, and neither did the ramen noodles. Probably because I was also still sprinkling the seasoning on top. So, in case you thought it was impossible to mess up ramen noodles, I've done it twice. Well, in 2 different ways, more than twice, but in 2 different ways. Now, I'm much better now. I would say the things I probably make best are ribs. I use it's not my recipe. It's a guy from work. A shout out to Russ Ruskowski. It's fun. I enjoy it. You guys can come over and I will make you something sometime. I'll make you peanut butter ramen and crunchy ramen where you just dump the spice packet on top of cooked noodles.
I was the same as Chad. And Chad and I famously would get together and just make a big box of pasta and eat the whole thing together. And I still do that only when Laura's at work and I'm alone with the kids. We eat pasta. That's exclusively when I make what is the 3 of us alone.
It's just butter and salt, right? It's nothing, no sauce.
Right. Oh, yeah, sometimes Parmesan cheese or something, but at least those.
Yeah, because we would make that box of pasta, and you would do butter and salt, and I would do butter and Parmesan cheese. So I just kept a big thing of Parmesan cheese at your house.
Right.
So I was coming over so often to do that.
That's the problem now is I'll make an elaborate spaghetti. My spaghetti used to be just pasta and then a bottle of like ragu sauce on top. And now I like take a lot of time to make my own sauce and meat and
Make
all
your
that.
own pasta, don't you?
I make my own pasta from hand. You put a bunch of flour and crack an egg, and I know how to do it, sort of. I've
No,
never
you
done
don't.
it.
You can't even make a fucking ramen package. You're not making pasta from hand.
I go on Craigslist and wait for pasta to become available. But then, like,
Have you tried the famous dish of spaghetti with watered down peanut butter on it?
Have you tried mixing organic ketchup and regular ketchup together?
and then squirting it into a compost pile? Great
So anyway, mostly grill. If I'm cooking, it's grilling. I feel like it is impossible to mess anything up. You just season it, whip it onto the heat, and then wait for it to be done. So I love to grill. I don't like cooking inside that much, and I don't really like baking unless it's just a pre-made baking. I hate measuring out all the baking ingredients, not into it, but I do love to eat baked goods.
I don't bake at all.
I've gotten super into baking lately, actually. And I even recently bought a scale, because the proper way you're supposed to bake is you're actually supposed to weigh the ingredients rather than say like 1 cup of flour. It would be like, 5 ounces of flour or something like that. That's how like all the professionals do it. So now I've got a scale so that I can try to do that. And I think that part of that was inspired because we were watching a lot of that show, Great British Bake Off. And then I just was like, I just want to recreate all these things. And there's a famous cake on Great British Bake Off called Victoria Sandwich, which is just like 2 cakes, and in the middle is whipped cream and jam, like strawberry or raspberry jam or something. And so I tried to make that, but my recreation was, I guess I didn't do the whipped cream right, or the jam didn't set enough, because then when I put them together, it all just oozed out the side, and it just looked like this cake just vomiting all over the countertop.
I don't bake primarily because my wife has celiac, so she does the baking because it's all got to be gluten-free stuff. So we have to go find like sand and wood chips or the shit you put in there instead of actual flour. But she does most of that. I don't bake, but I like like you said, I like eating baked goods. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just something enjoyable. So would you say, I would say I am a better cook than my wife, but she is a more frequent cook. She's not a bad cook by any means, but I would say she'd even agree I'm slightly better. Probably just because I like doing it and she doesn't like it. Would you guys say you are better cooks than your wives or no?
Not if I want to sleep in my own bed tonight. No, I actually, honestly, making meals is a chore to me. So it's kind of the opposite of you. I don't really, I like cooking on the grill because I get to sit outside. It's nice. It's more about the actual experience of doing it. But when I'm just forced to like prepare my meals for the week or make a dinner, get home, make a dinner, that's more of a chore to me than anything else.
Does Laura like doing it?
She likes trying new stuff. Like, you guys know her a bit. Like, she will eat anything and loves trying new stuff. Actually, one thing that I get on her a lot about is she's like this cook who can't help herself. So she makes something and then it's good. So I get to the point now I'm like, this is good. This is great. Just I say it so many times because I want her to make it the same way next time. Like, I'm enjoying this. So please remember, like, please know what I'm enjoying this. I've said this 19 times. And then next time she like, oh, this is the same thing, except I added these 7 ingredients. And I'm like, no, this is not as good as it was the first time. And I'm like, what'd you do last time? She's like, I don't remember. I told you I liked it. So she just likes to mess around though, and just add. I mean, she's very frequently saying, oh, I just made it from the recipe, except instead of this, we didn't have this, so I put this in, and we didn't have this ingredient, so I added this. Like, so this is not the recipe at all.
So you did not make that.
Right.
So tell me if you guys would try this. So here's what I'm doing this afternoon. We found this thing called Feastly, which is this new service that I guess I could loosely describe it as like the way Airbnb is for hotels, Feastly is for restaurants. So it's like these people they cook out of their home, and then you go to their house and they just like cook a full meal for you.
Pay them?
What?
Yeah, so that's what we're doing today.
Do you just scour different apps looking for meals?
Yeah, what? Are you homeless?
I don't know how we found out about this. But
So wait, do you pay them at all, or you just show up at their house and eat?
No, we pay them.
Oh.
Yeah, so you pay them like through the app or whatever.
Just people offering to cook meals.
So it's actually just a soup kitchen that I'm going to.
Some creepy guy just inviting strangers into his house and
Hello.
he's lonely, basically.
Yeah, so we're going to this thing, and it's the one that we picked is this person that the guy does ramen, and he has like hundreds of reviews on this app. It's like super highly rated. And so we're just going to this house, and there's going to be, I think, 10 people at a time. So there's going to be like 8 other rando strangers eating with us.
What? Is this just like a way to have a restaurant without having to open a restaurant?
I mean, that's what Airbnb is, a way to have a hotel without opening
Right,
a hotel,
yeah.
basically, right? So yeah, it's the same.
But that seems, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like you need a little more like insurance when you're feeding people these meals and things like that. I don't know, maybe not.
I think there's probably no health code, like, oversight or whatever.
You're probably going to show up, and these people are just like completely naked. They're like, put your key in this bowl. And, oh, here's some snacks. They just give you like some Cheez-Its to eat.
Right, he just pours ramen broth over my head, and then he's like, I'm gonna lick this off of you now.
There's another app you could get a meal from called Match.com.
Right.
I think if you send them a dick pic, they'll buy you a pizza.
Is that how dating works nowadays?
Yeah.
I haven't dated in a while. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I have a Tinder profile that's just sub-sandwich pictures. I'm kidding. I don't.
This could be our last podcast, because I may get
Yeah.
murdered at this meal in
Right.
the afternoon.
All right.
He's murdering 10 guys at once, though. That's kind of...
Yeah, impressive.
Let us know which one of us you want to go over to your house and sell all your groceries after you're dead.
No, you gotta give them away for free.
We can re-gift that box of lasagna noodles to a third
Yeah,
owner.
find out who wants the half gallon of milk that's in my fridge right now.
the half Snickers cruncher that's been wrapped. It's a twisted package. So we've got snacks to rate, and we're using a rating system of love dat, like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, or hate dat, depending on our preference. And before we go too far, Geiger, why don't you also run down our social media so everyone can
Sure.
log on and find us?
We're hip to the applications of today. So we have Facebook. Really recent development in this Facebook app. We've sold all of your data to Cambridge, or whatever it is.
The Feastly.
Yeah, the Feastly.
If you listen to our podcast, someone's going to ask you to come over for a meal.
It's going to be peanut flavored ramen noodles. All right. So we're on Facebook at You Tried Dat. We are on Twitter at You Tried Dat. You can email us directly at youtrydat@gmail.com. And we are also newly on Instagram, which, Chad, I don't use Instagram. What is that? I mean, I know what it is. So we post pictures of the food and stuff like that, but how do they find it? You just go to Instagram, look up You Tried Dat?
Yeah, right.
So go there, go to Dat, and leave us a comment about what you like, didn't like, if you agree with our ratings, disagree. If there's a food you would like us to try, we're more than willing to take suggestions. Like Novak mentioned, we have one later today. And then also just, I don't know, any feedback is welcome. Follow us all and all those things, and you can make sure that you are aware of all the latest podcasts that are coming up.
This will be dated by the time this podcast comes out, but we just posted pictures of some of the graphs that we had talked about in previous episodes. So if you really want to see how pathetic we are, head to the social media and you can check out what our bell curves look like.
Yes, we do record ahead of time. We've recorded this 3 years ago.
So when you're wondering where we got all these snacks in the dystopian future we'll be living in 3 years, where there ceases to be any stores, there's no food left, and you're scrounging for water in the desert, enjoy listening to this podcast where
We're still putting out podcasts? We're still posting them?
I mean, with the last dying remnants of your iPhone's battery, please listen to a podcast from 3 years ago.
We're going to start by eating the Nature's Bakery Fig Bar. So I've seen these in stores quite a bit now, usually in the health granola bar section. And there's Nature's Bakery is the brand, and there's a whole bunch of different varieties of it. The one we're eating today is blueberry. And you can feel in the package that it's divided into 2 pieces inside. Noted on the front also is that it is stone ground whole wheat.
Yeah, what does that mean? Because that's the first ingredient, too, is stone ground whole wheat flour. Why do I care how it's ground? Does that matter?
Well, if you use like a dog's paw or something, the hair could get in there or something like that. So it's probably just letting you know that only nature itself has touched the ground wheat flour.
I went onto their website, and I know we've given some other hippie products a hard time, but they have this big join our community thing where people are posting long stories of how they left their jobs and went on like 7-month hikes in the Himalayan mountains, and it's really strange. And
What?
know
That
what
sounds like a
if they're
cult.
real or
What does it have to do? Like they took this bar with them or something? Is that why
and
they're?
it's like they don't even really mention the bar that much, but a bunch of people are all the stories are almost so well written that they seem fake, but it makes it look real the way it's posted. It's kind of posted in a social media looking type of thing. So check out.
Nature's Bakery is just ruining people's credit. Is essentially what you're saying.
Is this an outlet for people that want to write like the Penthouse Forum stories, but without any sex whatsoever?
So then he invited me and 10 friends over. He was going to make us a meal.
He just handed us Nature's Bakery fig bars, and I was like, I paid $80 for this.
All right, so basically this thing looks like a fat Fig Newton.
Yeah.
2 of them in a pack.
Do you guys like Fig Newtons?
I'm not a
All
huge
right.
fig person. I'm not huge into figs. Do you?
They're like a C plus, I think. Like they're all right, but I never go out of my way for them.
Fig Newton has a couple flavors, right? It's like the regular fig ones I'm not a big fan of, but I feel like they had like a strawberry or cherry one or something, and those are okay.
This tastes very much like a Fig Newton to me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I taste blueberry.
I do a bit. The outside of this isn't much darker than a Fig Newton. I think that's the whole wheat kind of look that you're used to seeing, where it's a bit browner.
Didn't we eat something else recently that kind of was like this too? I feel like this is a very like I've just had this flavor in my mouth and I can't remember. Maybe it's something at work I ate.
I taste the ground stones.
I do taste the blueberry, actually. I could taste it.
Is the flavor such that it inspires you to quit your job?
And hike in the mountains?
Yeah.
I would say it doesn't inspire me to do that, but it does inspire me to like host an orgy. Isn't that what the Penthouse Pet stories actually
One of the stories was very Penthouse. Like it was like this guy met some girl and they sat down and talked, and then he decided let her know he was going on this huge hike in the mountains, and she decided to quit her job and come along with. I'm like, what the? This can't be true. And if it is, I gotta get some more of these things.
Get into the story. Just getting more. Then I boned her. Wait, what?
Yeah, so
Turns out to be a real big bra.
staring over the sunset.
This Nature's Fig Bar is apparently the ultimate aphrodisiac.
I laid out a pile of open fig bars, and we just did it right on top.
Before I left for my Himalayan hike, I gave away all of my half-eaten groceries.
Some rube came to my house and took my ketchup off my hands. That
But
ketchup that I had been secretly spitting into for 6 months.
The one thing I didn't give away was my Nature's Bakery fig bar. All right, Chad, let's start with you this time. What do you think of the old fig?
This, to me, tastes like a slightly less processed Fig Newton. If you handed me this and a Fig Newton in like a blind taste test, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the difference. I can barely taste the blueberry, but that's actually probably a positive because I don't really think I'm a blueberry fan. So I'm going to give this one a big fat indifferent to dat.
All right, that's one indifferent. Geiger, what do you think?
It's definitely as natural. I mean, if you look at the ingredients, they are pretty much of the earth. There's locust bean gum, which I don't know what that is.
As opposed to like of the sky or the moon.
It's definitely not an interplanetary snack.
Ketchup compost mix?
It's fine. I mean, I don't like Fig Newtons that much. This is basically a fancy Fig Newton. I mean, you can definitely tell it's better than a Fig Newton because like it doesn't have that like the Fig Newton cookie itself is just like that like a crappy cookie. This is like actually well crafted. This is fine. I don't know. I'm waxing rhapsodic about something I'm about to say. All right. I ate both of them. I'm hungry. I don't give a shit. I would say indifferent to dat.
You don't give a shit. Why are you doing the podcast?
No, I don't mean it like that. I just mean like this snack is like neither here nor there for me. I would never.
Why are you asking me to rate this?
Guys, I just wanted to eat in peace. No, it's right down the middle. I'm having a hard time having a strong feeling either way about this. If you handed it to me on a 4-day hike, I'd be like, thanks, I'm hungry. It's fine. But I'm not going to ever seek it out. It's indifferent to that.
What if you left your job to go on a Himalayan hike with some hottie?
Yeah, if I'm leaving my
He's
job...
only coming if you down 10 of these.
I was going to say, it's only because she's hot, not because this food is good.
All right. Well, ding dong.
Oh, boy.
No one's there. Just this pamphlet. You guys are right on it. I could eat this or not eat it. If I was very hungry at work and there was nothing else, I'd eat it, but I would not buy it. Nothing more to say except that I give it an indifferent. So we have a lazy electioneer to start the show.
All right, yet another healthy snack that we then don't give a shit about.
I could predict that before we open this, that's what was going to happen.
I was going to actually predict that I was going to dislike it, so I like this more than I thought I was going to. So.
All right, so we're going to save our user suggestion for last. So now open up those stomachs because we're going to eat a small piece of chocolate.
A single piece of candy that Chad apparently stole from a child's hand? Like, did you go trick-or-treating for this? What is this?
And so at work, they just have different bulk bins of chocolates. So it's supposed to be, just these little individually wrapped chocolates so you can just have like a quick snack. So yeah, I just grabbed a couple of these and threw them in the box that I mailed to you because they're so tiny. I'm like, these can easily fit. But I never actually tried this. So this is Seattle Chocolates, and it says a super chocolate with coffee flour. So does that mean it's going to have a coffee flavor? I really hope not.
Isn't there a brand of coffee that's Seattle Coffee?
Yeah.
I think it's probably. Oh, I'm sorry. You probably are about to say that. No way.
No. I looked into it, and there were tons of varieties of these things. This one's in like a maroon kind of colored package, but this one actually, that super chocolate is actually the name of this particular one. So there's a bunch of different kinds, and super chocolate is this variety of Seattle chocolate.
So what does that mean? That it's like going to be really dark or really rich?
I think it said something about dark chocolate mixed with something else. So
if it's some version of like dark chocolate and coffee, I'm expecting to love this. It kind of looks weird. It's like mine is like kind of dusty looking. It's like kind of whitish.
It's it's a harder kind of chocolate. It's pretty. I don't know bitter.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Yeah, it's really dark chocolate.
Is there something a little crunchy in yours, or am I?
Yes.
Yeah, there is some kind of, I don't know, little dark nub or something.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know what? I bit halfway and I can see they're like chocolate chips almost.
Yeah, or maybe they're coffee beans or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's coffee beans because I got it like a coffee flavor when I.
Maybe that's where you're getting the bitterness then. Are you guys able to finish yours, or is it too much? It's a small piece of candy.
I'm so full.
Well, I thought you were asking because Chad made a audible moan there.
I gotta save room for my murder lunch later.
No, we're specifically told to fatten you up.
Right. It's like, can you get some notes of coffee in his stomach? Like, well, he doesn't drink it. No, I just have this candy.
That's why it's called Feastly, because it's for these people to find other people to feast on. Anyway.
Ominous. No one's laughing, all right?
Oh, eating people. Geiger, what do you think of the
Eating
super
people?
chocolate? Is it super?
Oh, that was really tasty. I love dark chocolate. I love coffee. It has a little bit of like that coffee bean flavor. You guys ever? It reminds me of when you guys eat, when anyone eats a chocolate covered espresso bean. That's basically what it tastes like to me. And I love those things. I am all in. I would take a whole box of those. I love that, guys.
Whoa.
Really good.
Awooga.
I'll step up next. It's kind of. I actually don't like coffee at all.
Yep.
That's a start. I don't like dark chocolate.
Yep.
I will say I liked it slightly better than I thought I would. It wasn't as bad. I finished the whole thing, which is not saying anything because it's a small piece of chocolate.
Oh, wait, I get shit for it. You finished that whole piece of candy and we're just going to go uncommented on, huh?
Here's the thing with this rating. Something that's healthy that I can rate however I want. So something that's healthy, I'm more than likely to slide it up a little bit because if it tastes okay, I'll say, well, it's somewhat good for me. There's some like intangible part there that I'm liking. It's making me feel a little better. I would never under any circumstance get this. I'm trying to, you try to limit the amount of sweets and things you eat.
Yeah.
And I would never waste a dime or a bite on a coffee dark chocolate piece. But it was slightly better than I thought. So I do recognize that if you like coffee and dark chocolate, that you will love this.
Just kill it and get it over with, Novak.
I just like that.
You're beating around that bush. Just get in there and kill it.
I promised myself I wouldn't beat around the bush, but there it was.
The bush has been beaten. Chad?
This thing is really small, and I did not finish it. I only ate half and then put it down. I think coffee is one of the most vile substances on the face of this planet. The smell is bad. The taste is even worse. I can taste it in anything, like even if it has just a little subtle coffee in something, like a big pie or not pie, like a big cake with a little bit of coffee in it. You know, the famous coffee pie.
Not a pie. Something totally different, like a cake. Oh, thanks for clarifying.
Right. And also, on top of that, I don't like dark chocolate. So, this is getting a hate dat.
Whoa!
Wah, wah, wah.
This thing is disgusting.
So that
Wow.
is, by default, I'm going to put that blueberry fig in the lead for the time being.
Okay, so you guys are honestly telling me you'd eat those bark bars, those blueberry fig, quit your job, hike in the mountains bars over a delicious piece of chocolate candy.
100% easy.
I don't honestly think my preference is that far off. Like the fig slightly above, but because it is a little bit better for me, I would eat it ahead of it.
Better for you. Just
You think you're better than me? What do
you thinking about? Oh, you worried about the body?
All right, we are going to move on to our segment next, and it's going to be a You Drank Dat.
All right, so today we're trying something a little different. This is some kombucha. So this is Synergy brand organic kombucha, and I noticed they have a couple different flavors. This one's called Trilogy. This for sure has this just screams hippie snack. I mean, just look at this packaging, like the marketing on it: renew, rebalance, rebuild, reclaim, rekindle, recharge. And then there's this blurb, mission in a bottle. So here's what their founder, whose name is GT Dave, says. In 1995, I started making organic raw kombucha based on the belief that it could touch people's lives. For me, kombucha represented everything that food should be: raw, unadulterated, and crafted by nature. Okay, GT Dave, go fuck yourself. Raw food.
Yeah, I can back you up there.
I mean, like, yeah, some stuff, like, you know, a salad or, like, sushi or whatever. But to say that everything should be raw, you are living on another planet, my friend.
Dylan, do you guys have the same words of enlightenment that are on the back as I do?
True security is peace.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Yes, mine too.
Okay.
Yeah, this whole thing, there's like a million instances of just hippie behavior on this bottle. Living food for the living body. We believe good things come from small beginnings. Our batches are small enough to hug, which we do because love is our number one ingredient.
You guys really hate love, huh?
No, I'm for love. I think maybe, I don't know.
I'm for love.
I'm anti-love.
I grew up in your typical repressed dude who didn't believe in emotions growing up, and this is just a lot for me to take in.
No, my wife loves kombucha. She drinks it and talks about it a lot, and I do think she drinks it because of what she claims the benefits are. I just sort of always believe that that's probably good for you because people are always talking about it. I then, in trying to come up with intros earlier, was just researching the products. I guess it's really debated how good this stuff is for you or not. Like a lot of the claims are kind of unfounded, like scientifically unfounded. That may surprise you when someone writes enlightenment all over the bottle, but but that apparently is the case. And I guess if people who try to make this on their own have like gotten themselves very sick or died because of it.
Oh.
So I guess it can be kind of a messy, difficult, dangerous thing to
Well,
try
it's
to create.
It's fermented, right? So you give yourself botulism, I'm assuming.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's like bacteria and stuff that you use to make it. And there's a ton of stuff floating in it, so I was all set to, like, you know, just shake it up and, like, mix things together, because I figured it'd settle. But it actually says, do not shake on the side of the
Yeah, there's supposed to be stuff, yeah, all the stuff floating in there. That's off-putting to me. Is there any drinks that are good with things floating in them? Do people even like the pulpy orange juice? Like, do you like the super pulpy orange juice?
No. I mean, I like ice floating in there, I guess. Or, like, if there was, like, a $20 bill or something. If there was like a $20 bill floating in my soda, I'd be happy.
If you notice anything floating in a drink, like you can't drink it. You do everything you can to try to, even if it's just some little tiny black speck, you like do anything you can to get that speck out because you don't want to drink something floating in your drink.
It's such an unappetizing drink to look
This is
at.
also something where they like it. I don't know why it irritates me, but it says stuff like gluten-free and vegan. Like, oh yeah, unlike all those other juices that have tons of flour and animal parts in them. Like, no shit, it's gluten-free, dipshits. It's a drink.
You don't like your Pepsi that comes with like chicken bones in it?
The first time I've seen kombucha recently, I think when I became aware of it more is in the news. Like some NFL player, and it was like Michael Floyd. He's this receiver. Got suspended. Like he failed. He was already on like some sort of like he had been kicked out for doing drugs a couple times, and then he got pulled over drunk at a stoplight, and he failed a DUI test. And he said he had drank so much kombucha that he was drunk because there is like fermented alcohol or naturally occurring alcohol in it. So I wonder,
Yeah,
like,
there's like a warning about that. Yeah, like you don't drink if you're pregnant or anything like that.
so how much alcohol is in it? Like, could you get drunk from drinking? I mean, I feel like you'd have to drink a ton, right?
Let's find out, bro.
Oh, bro, my weekend.
Let's shotgun some kombucha.
Bro, I got so fucked up on kombucha over the weekend.
So, Chad, you have a rating scale for us before we get started.
Sure. So here's what I was thinking with this. So in researching kombucha, it is made from yeast. So it's one of those beverages that is made from yeast. I thought that we could do a 3-point rating system here. We'll start at the top, which is Yeast Feast. Second one, Yeast Beast. And then the third one would be...
Wait, is that
Beast
beast is indifferent?
Yeah, like, it's kind of beastly yeast. Yeast beast? I don't know. There's not that many words that rhyme with yeast. So, the third level is going to be yeast infection. No, it's going to be yeast.
You moron.
That is nasty. Why would we do
Just
that?
kidding. The bottom one is really going to be yeast least.
What kind of beast is this? An altered beast?
A beast of burden.
Yeast beast of burden. That's the middle. That's a good, very general audience rating system we can go with. So,
Yes, let's do that.
This smells bizarre.
ooh, bleh. I have had kombucha before.
I had it years ago, but not
Did
recently.
you like it when you had it the first time, Noah?
Nope. Ah.
What? No.
Give it another go.
I don't know if I didn't spit it all over my computer screen.
This smell reminds me ever so slightly of the O-Loves. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, I got some strong feelings about this.
All right. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Another like probiotic loving my wife like loves the probiotics and stuff, and one thing she always does is take shots of apple cider vinegar, and I guess that's supposed to be really healthy for you. Just like take a shot a day of apple cider vinegar. I said, okay, I'll give it a shot.
But
It was one of the worst experiences of my life. I put it down. I nearly spit it straight out. Could barely breathe. And it was terrible. And this is slightly better than that. There's still, you can tell there's some additives that make it slightly better and more drinkable. I'll just stop beating around the bush here, and I'll say that I'm going to give this a yeast least. I would never, under any circumstance, drink this poison. So, Geiger, what do you think?
Yeah, I did the same thing as you, Novak. I had taken a shot of apple cider vinegar. I had gotten, this was right before my wedding, I had gotten violently ill and lost like 20 pounds or 10 pounds. And I literally couldn't keep anything down. And my throat hurt real bad. And so I don't know why I saw some like home remedy to try to take like apple cider vinegar or something to like help with like your digestive tract or something. And it actually tasted terrible and burned mercilessly. And then we found out when I went back to the doctor that I had tore my esophagus from throwing up so much. So It was basically just pouring apple cider vinegar onto like a cut in my esophagus. And
Oh my gosh. This kombucha burns a little bit too. It's got a kind of burny.
I would say, I'm not trying to be overly dramatic. This tastes like, you know, when you throw up and you have that like kind of lingering up taste
Stomach
in your mouth?
acid.
Yes, it tastes like stomach acid. To me, like that's the lingering aftertaste I have of like, did I just puke? Nope, I drank Synergy. So, and I'm not trying to be like big meathead, like blue collar dude. I mean, I know we made fun of the hippiness of it. It is very hippie-ish, but if this were healthy and tasted good, I would be all for it. I think it's good that they're trying to like, I'm sure there's some healing properties to it, perhaps. I don't know. This shit would need to cure cancer for me to drink it. This is awful.
You have cancer?
No, guys, I want to let you know.
Don't reveal it on our food podcast.
If this is, what's the dumb rate? Least?
Least. We're going with least.
This is yeast least, my friend. This is bad. This is real bad.
That's 2. Chad, are you going to... I feel like you're not going to follow suit here.
It's not bad. It's I really thought I was going to hate it because when I tried kombucha before, this was years ago, it wasn't this brand, but it just, all I tasted was just like it was just drinking straight vinegar. And I thought it was disgusting, and I immediately like poured it out and stuff. I will say, I do think your stomach bile aftertaste, that's pretty accurate. Because now I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, when I was drinking it, it wasn't too bad. But it does have a really...
Yep, that's puke.
Yeah, kind of gross aftertaste there. That's that. So I can't give it a yeast least. So I'm going to go with the awful sounding, makes no sense rating of yeast beast.
But you're more of a least yeast
Yes,
beast.
Leaning towards the least yeast beast, not a feast.
Soon to be deceased.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, that was our You Drank That segment that all ages and genders can enjoy. And that brings us to this time of the day. So we have a listener, and Chad, you were the one who got this request from the listener. So do you want to?
Yeah. So this comes to us from listener Kat. She is one of our original listeners, one of our first listeners. Thanks for requesting this. So this is the Smashmallow. Smashmallow, it's, I guess, these sort of flavored marshmallows. I'm not totally sure how they're different from, like, Peeps, except maybe they're probably not as shitty as Peeps.
Shots fired.
They have lots of different flavors. The one we decided to pick was strawberries and cream. So, simply because not every flavor was available, like, at the Target that we looked at. They have some other flavors I'm interested in, like root beer float sounds really good. Cookie dough sounds really good. But for now, we're going to try the strawberries and cream and see how that goes.
So we give a hard time to the hippie companies, and we should give just as hard time to this company. When I looked them up and talked about it in the intro, it's just some entrepreneur who started an incubator that just comes up with products that will make a ton of money. So this there's nothing all that interesting behind this product, I don't think. It says on the package that there are 80 calories in a serving, and that's 4 marshmallows. And these marshmallows are they're in a cube shape. I don't know, I guess not that differently sized from a regular marshmallow.
They're like an inch long. Like they're like about half an inch thick and an inch wide, I guess I would say.
This is, combining a couple things. I feel like, is there a different consistency, do you think, to the pink? It's half pink and half white. Do you feel like there's a different, or am I just...
Like one side harder than the other, you mean?
Right.
No? Not really, no.
Seems the same to me, but I just want to point out, they're saying that the back, that it's supposed to be... They're trying to claim it tastes like freshly picked strawberries, but the ingredients is just strawberry flavors. There's no fresh pick here at all. But
I guess we have to. I mean, it seems like all of these packages are now writing some punny, hilarious, here's our family type of stuff on the back.
Like it says, discover your snackapade.
You know who doesn't do that? Cool Ranch.
What do you guys think of marshmallows as a snack?
I don't. I mean, I like s'mores, but it's not like I ever sat around and watched football and pop marshmallows into my mouth.
If we had a bonfire with the kids the night before and the package sitting there, I might just grab it and, eat 3 or 4 just to be fat, but I would never buy them with the purpose of snacking on them.
I mean, I know they're saying they're only 80 calories a serving, but I wouldn't call them guilt-free like they are, because one serving is 30% of your sugar intake. I mean, they are sweet as... They're not good for you, I don't think.
Are you guys able to tell a difference between sides? Like, I took a bite of the strawberry side and a bite of the cream side, and I don't think I can tell a difference.
Are you supposed to? Are they supposed to taste different?
I don't know. I just assumed one side was strawberry and the other side was cream.
Right.
That's just coloring, maybe?
Oh, this is a tough one.
It is.
I don't even think I think I'd rather eat a regular marshmallow than this. It does sort of make me interested in some of the other flavors. I'm just not sure how well a strawberry marshmallow goes.
To me, it just tastes sweet. I don't really taste that much strawberry. It just kind of tastes like a sugary marshmallow, which is what a marshmallow is. It's sweeter than a normal marshmallow, but and it's a little harder, I think, than a normal marshmallow.
I don't even like the smell. It's I think the smell is kind of off-putting.
I don't mind the smell.
I just don't taste strawberry, that's all.
It's very, very, very subtle, the strawberry. Like, in previous episode, we tried those Hidden Valley Ranch sunflower seeds. And I would say this has about as much strawberry flavor as those had ranch flavor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm only starting to notice it now that I've eaten 4, and it's, kind of building up in my mouth.
I don't know if I agree with that. I definitely... I feel like the strawberry is there, and that's what... I mean, because it doesn't smell like a regular marshmallow at all.
Right.
There's a different taste to it, and I think that is whatever this artificial strawberryness that they're putting over to us. So, Chad, let's start with you. And tell us what you think of these guys.
This might be the hardest one I've ever had to rate.
Wow.
This rating might be the hardest thing that I've done in my life.
Ooh.
and as you know, I've led a very difficult life, not at all completely privileged.
And it's almost over because you have that Feastly thing later.
Right. Yeah. This is the hardest thing I've done and the final thing.
He finally scaled his Everest before death, raiding a Smashmallow.
I like the idea here. These are so much better than Peeps. I thought they would be similar to Peeps. Peeps are garbage. These don't taste overly processed, which is good. The flavor's all right. I definitely am curious about the other flavors, because I think something like cookie dough or root beer float would be a bigger hit with me. So with these, I don't think I would ever buy this particular flavor again. I'm going to go indifferent to Dad here.
I don't like these. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I wanted to. I was sure I would. I was sure I would like these because I like strawberry flavored things quite a bit. And I like marshmallows. It's just way too sweet and just worse than a regular marshmallow. I would never eat these, but I am curious to try the other brands. As I said, I just don't think this flavor is really getting it done. I'm gonna give it a dislike that.
Wow, surprising. How was that? Now, was that the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life?
Oh no.
So I'm with you guys. This is difficult. They're not bad.
I was just trying to Geiger was eating them in a sensual way while you were talking, Chad, to the camera, trying to just be an idiot. And then I grabbed one to also have a sensual bite and regretted it. I did it for the joke, but then I wish I hadn't. All right, Geiger.
Also did it for the joke, except I ate mine and then 2 more after. I've eaten 8 of these. They're not bad. I think part of it too is the concept is interesting. I guess now that we've eaten it, I would never eat a giant marshmallow as a continual snack. Like you said, maybe pop one in. But having 4 of these in a row seems weird, even though I literally just doubled it.
Having 4 in a row is weird. Let me do that multiple times.
Well, but
4 is weird for a regular person. Multiplied by me, 8 is a standard serving.
4 is weird. 8's cool.
Right. All the cool kids are eating 8 marshmallows in one sitting.
12, and you are a player.
Yo, what up, ladies? My marshmallow bag is empty.
I ate 12 Smashmallows. Want to go on a hike with me?
They're way too sweet. They don't really taste like strawberry.
Give the rating with a mouthful of marshmallows. Tell me you don't like them as your mouth's full of them.
Put 8 Smashmallows in your mouth at once and then tell us the rating.
I say as swallowing what is likely my 9th Smashmallow. I didn't eat lunch, to be fair. I dislike that. I don't like it.
After eating 9 of them?
I thought they'd get better. But they didn't.
I saw the one at the bottom and it looked good.
You ate 9 and you gave it a dislike. You are ridiculous.
I was hungry and I was just sitting here. What
kind of person are you?
Lack impulse control. I invented Beasley so people could come over and I could eat them.
Really, probably has a Feastly account. Chester
Cheetah definitely has a Beasley account. Hey, now that you're here, you got to pay for that meal.
Come on over, pull down your pants.
Come over to my house and eat some ramen and then pull down your pants. Show me you that asshole.
Wait, Chester Cheetah's gonna play with your asshole?
Don't mind this
Sharp
authentic
teeth.
Asian food. I just watered down my peanut butter a little bit.
Out of curiosity, did your friend Kat, did she tell you if she liked these? Is this something she enjoys?
She loves them. She said, I don't know about this flavor. She said her favorite flavors are the cookie dough and then Meyer lemon. And she said that she's been super addicted to them and can't stop eating.
Lemon, I guess, being a stronger flavor for a marshmallow. It's sourish to balance out the sweets. Maybe that's better.
So I think if we're giving our listeners scores on this is a -1 right here. Because we're below average for our rating.
Rough episode.
So I don't know what this says about this cat character.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is she the daughter of whoever made this?
Her last name is Smashmallows. I should have told you guys that.
Cat Smashmallow from Sonoma, California wants to write in.
The only cat that I trust is Chester. Really
Right.
All right. So the winner by default here is the Fig Bar.
I am stunned.
Only one that didn't get multiple dislikes.
I am stunned.
This was a rough one. Not quite as rough as our host this episode, where our beautiful graph just jots straight down to the bottom, but definitely not one of our better rounds. We're going to try to turn things around next time when we rate health bars. So if you are a healthy person who wants to live past 60, then you might want to tune in and get some recommendations from us.
If you do not tune in next week, you will die before 60, is what we're trying to say.
Right.
So the population this time 2 weeks from now will be 9 people. Good to know. Good to know.
Be much easier to figure out who is going to come to my feastly meal.
The internet will be flooded with free grocery offers.
You'll be able to have all the Smashmallows you want while you sit there and hate what you're eating.
I gotta be honest. If everyone dies in 2 weeks, I'm not gonna go round up all the Smashmallows to eat.
You're going to be focused on half-full organic ketchup.
Yep, and kombucha that tastes like puke.
What would be the food you would gather up if you had access to all food that was left?
Probably you got to prioritize like steak and fish and stuff because it's gonna go bad. So you can eat all the lobster in the world because no one else is gonna eat it other than like the three of us and our wives, or the people that listen to the podcast. So you'd go after the perishables first, and then because Cool Ranch will be there for you later, baby. Those unopened bags of Cool Ranch Cheerios. I would head down to the Doritos factory and then probably just live there. Just live there for the rest of my days.
Get all those spare bags you've been wanting.
Spare bags laying around that they haven't mailed yet to me. I haven't forgotten. Whoever makes it, Nabisco maybe. Not sure.
All right, Chad. Before we go, do you want to tell us what food you'd get in the apocalypse?
Based on experience, it would be no boiled lasagna noodles. Just sit there and just chomp into them.
Chad, do you want us to text you in a couple hours, just some like as proof of life that you're not like in a pot boiling with some carrots or something?
Meals today, is that right?
Yeah, it's in an hour and a half.
All right. Well, it was nice knowing you, buddy. And that's going to be it for this week. We'll be back next time with 3 new healthy snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.